morning, everyone. Good morning. Very good morning, everyone. I'd like to introduce the Reverend Richard Bennett for our invocation. He is the pastor at the West Parish Congregational Church. Please remain standing during the invocation.
Blessings to all this day. First, we give thanks for these seniors here today who have made all families and teachers and mentors rightly proud. On this day of graduation, we give thanks for the freshness of questing minds. They keep us humble, and for inquiring spirits that keep us young. We give thanks for the unselfish service that gives the words honor and charity real meaning, as we give thanks for leaders and students and teachers of all kinds, for those who pull their weight and inspire on behalf of energetic living. So let us pray this day for light hearts and willing hands and healthy appetites, for the many rich and sweet tastings of life. Thanks for the friendships forged before and during and after our time in this incredible place of learning. But most of all, let us be lifted up in praise for the various energies of what some call divine love, which made and continues to make all things possible. And so to the generous spirit, which is universal within nearly all cultures and layers and levels of life and living. The generous spirit which comes to us in many ways, in art as beauty, in language and literature and history as inspiration, and in science and truth. Today we acknowledge the gifts of all creation in our moments of joy and celebration. Today we mark the passing of time, even as we all step into new combinations and perambulations of time and rhythm. For this is the day. This is the day when we celebrate the myriad mysteries which call each and every one of us into constant learning. So blessings for this day. Let us rejoice with open and full hearts. And so I greet you all with these words of universal grace. Jumbo, Namaste, Shalom, Salam, peace. Bless you all.
Please be seated. Welcome. Welcome grandparents and parents, aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters, mentors and beloved friends. Welcome to Wendy Penley, Chair of Gould's Board of Trustees, Richard Blanco, Presidential Inaugural Poet and our graduation speaker, faculty and staff, alumni, and friends in the Bethel community. Most importantly, welcome this morning to the class of 2015. You are so cherished here. This is your place, and that will never change. But the time has come to take what you have learned here and who you have become here out to the world. And I know that I speak for everyone at Gould when I say that we know the world will be a better place for the work you do in it. We know that you are ready for lives of purpose, action, excellence, and compassion. We can't wait to see what you do, and we will always be here for you and hope to see you many, many times in the future. Before we move forward this morning, a quick piece of business. At the end of the ceremony, the graduates will leave first, forming a receiving line in the outfield. Faculty and staff will follow the graduates and pass through the receiving line. This is a chance for each faculty and staff member to personally congratulate each graduate. Families, you don't need to go through the receiving line. You should go directly to your child, and it's a great chance to take pictures. So back to the very important matter at hand. I'd like to introduce Wendy Penley, Gould Academy Board of Trustees President. Wendy has served on the board since 2007 and became its president in May of 2012.
Good morning. So nice to be here. I'm glad we all made it. Nice work. It's my pleasure to introduce our graduation speaker, Richard Blanco. Many of you may know of Richard as the gifted poet who created One Today, the poem he read at President Obama's second inauguration. We are fortunate to know him as a friend and neighbor who practiced the reading of this poem to a snowman in his yard just down the road. Richard's first degree was earned in civil engineering. His parents wanted him to study something that would support him, and I imagine that might resonate with some of you in the audience today. He enjoyed it. Creating buildings and bridges and local developments and learning the ins and outs of permitting were interesting, but there was more. When he completed a master's in fine arts and creative writing and won, well, I'm not in order, excuse me a moment, and won a national award for his first book of poetry just a year later, his life took a different turn. He started to teach, first at Central Connecticut State College, then later at Georgetown and American universities, and at the Arlington County Detention Facility. In truth, he is a storyteller. The themes of identity, place, and belonging run throughout his poetry and his recently released memoir. These themes resonate with each of us as we struggle to find out, who are we? Where are we happiest, and how do we fit in? When he and Mark moved to Bethel, our community grew richer. Richard joined the planning board and agreed to chair the sign ordinance committee. Those of you who know small communities understand that this was a very brave step into local politics. They became part of the fabric of Bethel, giving readings for the community in Bingham, enjoying pies left on their doorstep by friends, walking their dog Joey with long, loping strides on the Bethel Parkway, gradually settling in and making this place their home. Richard reflected on being home when he ended his recent book tour for his memoir with a reading at Bingham with the Gould and Bethel communities. 2 years ago, Richard established the Visiting Writers Program and Retreat at Gould. At least once a year, he brings an established writer to Bethel to read and work with Gould students, to hold a public reading for the Bethel and Gould communities, and to have the writer spend time in a small retreat cottage on his property, honing their craft. This is an incredible gift for everyone and reinforces the power of personal expression through the written word. Richard is a friend of Gould, someone we enjoy working with and learning from, and I am so pleased that he joins us today for this celebration. It's always fun and inspiring to listen to Richard, and his words and reflections to this graduating class are truly a special moment for us. Richard Blanco.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Wendy. That was beautiful. Thanks. Made me realize how much a part I am of this community. It's been almost 7 years now, I think. And it is really my sincere pleasure and certainly an honor to stand with all of you here today, gathered as we are as a proverbial village together to congratulate you, our graduates, and wish you well. I think I speak for all of us when I say that there's no doubt that Gould has challenged you academically in many, many important ways. Challenges that you have obviously met, challenges that have earned you this milestone moment today, challenges that have prepared you for continued success, academic and otherwise. But I'm not here to talk about academics or education, or give you any practical advice on top 10 careers or great colleges. I am a poet, after all. And as such, I'm here to share something poetic, something more subtle and complex that is perhaps even more important than your graduating GPA today. Something that I'm sure that Gould has also equally prepared you for, though you may not quite be aware of it just yet. Maybe you are, but trust me, you will be in the years to come. I think that the biggest challenge ahead of you is not how you're going to pass physics or calculus, as it was for me, or write a 20-page paper on the meaning, the symbolism of dentures in Victorian literature, the night before it's due, and all the rest, etc., etc. I think the biggest challenge is going to be how to navigate all those decisions, big and seemingly small, that you're going to have to make or start making on your own. Because let's face it, until now, a lot of decisions have been prescribed for you in some way or another. But those days are coming to an end. You're going to have to face innumerable forks in the road like never before. And you're going to have to stand there, fretting over what to do, which way to go, as if the rest of your whole life depended on whether you go left or you go right. Will it? That's the question Frost is having fun with in one of his most popular yet most misunderstood poems, The Road Not Taken. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. I hope you noticed I tried to read that poem with as much sarcasm and irony as Frost intended. Most of us, including myself, have terribly misunderstood that poem for years, until last night actually when I was looking at it now. It's one of the most cliched sort of hallmark poems that sort of says, oh, you know, this idea that the road you take makes all the difference. But if you read the poem closely, you notice that both paths were just as fair and worn about the same, and that when Frost sighs and looks back at his life, he decides that he took the one less traveled by. So, aren't they about the same? What's he talking about? He cannot know how the road that he did take made all the difference, because he can never know what was down the other road he didn't take, right? But does it really matter, is the question. Frost is playing a sarcastic trick on us. He's saying that there really is no absolute right or wrong path or decision or road in life. There are only decisions that we must trust, sometimes beyond and despite reason. And what's more, we cannot linger in useless indecision, because everything in life comes down to a mix of choice and chance. Though I'm not suggesting that we make decisions willy-nilly, we do need to pause for a moment, but we need to pick a road. I'll give you a very personal example that Wendy was referring to. As a teenager, right about your age, I was convinced that I was meant to be an architect, the Cuban Robert Frost, for sure. That was the right road for me, or so I thought. But none of the local universities my parents could afford offered a degree in architecture, so I took the other road at that fork in my life. And surprisingly, it was on that engineering road that I discovered language. As a result of all the reports and letters and studies that I had to write up, I fell in love with language, starting writing poetry in my office during my lunch hour, or lunch 2 hours. I eventually went on to get a master's degree, not in architecture, but in creative writing, and became a well-published and acclaimed poet, and the rest, as they say, is history. But all the while, I was still the same way that Frost was being sarcastic. I was still thought in the back of my head, oh, I took the wrong road. I'm not really a poet. I'm really an architect. So at age 42, glutton for punishment, I put a portfolio together and got accepted into a master's degree in architecture. And guess what? After about 3 weeks, I realized I was probably the most horrible architect that could have ever walked the face of the planet. Not only that, I learned to hate it. You know, I just could not get it. And I dropped out after 3 weeks. But what came of that was that I realized that I was meant to be an engineer, and I was meant to be a poet. And that the road that I had taken was not the wrong one, nor was it the right one, but simply the road that was meant to be, which led me ultimately to where I really am and was meant to be. And in some part because I faithfully, though unwittingly, trusted that it would. And that is essentially my message to you today. Confide in yourselves when it comes to the many forks in the road ahead of your life. Don't look back. Don't second guess yourselves. Move down the road you chose with faith. Do not hope it is the right road, but believe it is the right road and make it so. Trust that it will lead you exactly to where you need to be. And most importantly, understand that the road really never ends. On that note, I'd like to close with another poem, one that I wrote partly in response to Frost's poem that you just read, but also to say that life is not about getting from point A to point B, but rather it's about a journey, a continuous, glorious happening. And life is best lived as a verb, not a noun, in which past, present, and future tense are all one, constantly unfolding and informing each other in who you are. Since unfinished. I've been writing this since the summer my grandfather taught me how to hold a blade of grass between my thumbs and make it whistle. Since I first learned to make green from blue and yellow and cut up paper into snowflakes. Since I believed a seashell echoed the sea and that the sea had no end. I've been writing this since the day a sparrow flew into my classroom and crashed into the window, laid to rest on a bed of tissue in a shoebox by the playground swings. Since the morning I first stood up on the bathroom sink to watch my father shave, since our eyes met in that foggy mirror, since the splinter my mother pulled from my thumb and kissed my blood. I've been writing this since the girl I kissed the night of my father's wake, since my grandmother first called me a sissy and I said nothing, since I forgave her and my body pressed on the dance floor at twist, since those years spent drinking vodka martinis with those I knew I couldn't love. I've been writing this since the night I pulled off the road at Big Sur and my eyes caught the insanity of the stars. Since the months I spent in the kitchen window watching the snow come down like fallout from a despair I had no words for. Since I stopped trying to name it and instead found myself tick-tocking in a hammock at peace, asking nothing of the sky. I've been writing this since spring, studying the tiny leaves on the oaks dithering like moths, a contrast to the eon-old fieldstones suddenly unveiled of snow, but forever works in progress. Since tonight, under the battled moon behind the branches spying on the world, same as it ever was, perfectly unfinished. My glasses and pen at rest, again on the night table. I've been writing this since my eyes started seeing less, my knees aching more, since I began picking up twigs, feathers, and pretty rocks for no reason, collecting them on the porch, where I sit to read and watch the sunset, just like I did with my grandfather, every day, remembering him now, and how to make a blade of grass whistle. Thank you. I wish you all the best. And remember, no matter what road you choose, make it the right one. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage our student-elected graduation speaker, Xiaolu Chen.
Good afternoon and welcome, Mr. Ruby, Miss Penley, Mr. Blanco, family and friends. My name is Xiaolu Chen, a 4-year senior from Shanghai, China. To start, I want to throw back to a joke I told at my first public speaking event at Gould. What did the fish say when it hit the wall? Damn! Surprise, Mom and Dad. I never mentioned to you that I'm speaking today. I must thank you for flying 18 hours to come to my graduation. And thank you to all the parents who are here or not here today. To tell you a secret, I never truly graduated from middle school, primary school, or even kindergarten. This is my first time attending a graduation of my own. In 2003, my kindergarten canceled the fancy little Western-style ceremony that every kid got to dress up in small versions of hats and robes because of SARS. Apparently, our parents think a deadly contagious disease is more important than their kids graduating from kindergarten. After that, I went to a public primary school in China that has 1,000 students per grade. Surprisingly, we were too busy studying and testing all the way towards the end. The only thing we did as a celebration in the end was to gather together in a room with no air conditioner and got educated about how lucky we were under the Communist Party's leading. I also never received my middle school diploma because I didn't finish my last year and went to Gould directly. You can imagine how excited I will be in an hour receiving my high school diploma. And after looking at our baby pictures this week, it is hard to believe that we were once so fresh and shiny. So today, standing here in a white robe with a goofy hat on my head, not so far away from fresh and shiny, I do not think I have the ability to deliver some lifelong meaningful advice to you guys. But I promise I will at least try to not waste your time for listening. Class of 2015, our high school life is approaching its end. Jeez. It's really strange that for many times in the past, you complained that the end is still too far away. It always feels unreal that we're graduating today. Today is supposed to be tinged with sadness and tears. There are many of us here today who we want to see again soon, but may not be able to. There are many here us today who we never want to see again. That's not true. Like many of you, my strongest wish is to be with all my friends longer. Just even a few more minutes would be better. But today, I must give you all permission to say goodbye. From my understanding, in America, people say goodbye with, "Have a nice day. See you later." Today, do we go with the extended version? "Have some great couple of years. See you in a long, long time." Do we say, "Enjoy the rest of your life," rather than "enjoy your time"? The awkwardness of saying goodbye is true among friends, but I encourage you to not be afraid of anything. Smile at your friends and say, "See you again." Or in Spanish, "Adios." Or in French, "Adieu." Or in Turkish, sorry, though I forgot. Or in Thai, "Logon." Or in Mandarin, 再见. Our relationships will not easily slip away by just saying goodbye. Nevertheless, many of us here might feel nervous or terrified because today is the big day. But we need perspective. So I asked myself, what is going to change about me? Will I suddenly fall in love with video games? Will I begin to hate eating or sleeping? Well, I secretly wish a zombie apocalypse to come. I don't think so. The reality is that little is going to change us in an hour. We will remain the same people. I'm not trying to belittle our accomplishment of graduating from high school, nor implying we will never change again. I'm just simply saying that we are mature enough to embrace the present and say goodbye. The fact is that we might not be ready to leave mentally, but we cannot stay at Gould any longer. The next train we need to catch in our life is whistling. Our time is up. Here's some hard question to be asked. Do you still want to wake up at 7:30 and go to Saturday classes? Do you miss being asked to go back and change because you're not in dress code? Do you want to be on the payback study hall list one more time? If your answer to those questions are yes, I wouldn't be shocked. Those things are part of our Gould memory, whether we like them or not. The point is that it is time to say goodbye to all the things we experienced here. So now, I have some little suggestions for you. First, to thank you to your parents. I, for one, could not express how much I feel thankful to my parents' support over the past 18 years of my life. Second, laugh and cry. Be happy about what we have gained from Gould. Laugh at the stupid things we have ever done here. Share stories that you would never want to share before you graduate. Last but not the least, do not lose your diploma. So remember, when you say goodbye to all your friends or teachers today, don't be shy. As you're doing so, keep a few things in mind. For any reasons that you're leaving today with great excitement, it is that you have left mark on this place and will continue to shine to make your friends proud. This might be the last complete gathering of this group of amazing people. Enjoy and value this moment that we are all here today. So here's to us, to class of 2015. Let's keep calm and continue to be fresh and shiny. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our valedictory speaker, Pratt Olson.
Thank you, Shelley. So, welcome, family and friends, Mr. Ruby, Ms. Penley, Mr. Blanco, faculty and students. I want to thank especially my parents, who have offered me endless support and encouragement, not only these last 4 years, but for my entire life. Of everything I have learned at Gould Academy during the past 4 years, there's one idea which has had the most profound impact on how I approach life. Impossible is relative. But before I get to that idea, I bet a lot of you could have guessed what I'm about to say. 2 weeks ago, DC, Rachel, and I ran a marathon. My parents have probably been spreading this news around our neighborhood, but it isn't exactly the first thing that I intended to tell a crowd of several hundred strangers. The thing is, though, the marathon gave me 5 hours of running to reflect, and I had some reflections that I want to share today. At about mile 16 of the race, Rachel and I were running with an old man and a young boy who had just started the relay. We went up a little hill, and the boy remarked, "Geez, there are a lot more hills than they said." The old man who was running with him replied, "You know, that's just how life is. There are always more hills than they told you." It sounds a bit cliche now, but at mile 16 it sounded pretty profound. It's actually pretty profound right now too, because of where we are in our lives at this moment, at the top of an enormous hill. But then, as we continued running, I began to think about things. the things that make running the race possible, like sneakers, and the things that make finishing the race possible, which is something a little bit harder to identify. As we prepare to leave Gould, we feel the urge to grasp a symbol. We want some object that is representative of our time here. As you packed up, I'm sure that you took a look around in search of this thing that symbolizes your experience. I know that I did. It's hard, though, to identify exactly what we will take with us when we part with this place. We could take pictures. We could take the sports uniforms that we forgot to return to the field house. We could take the myriad English and history books, but there's no one thing that seems quite right. The problem is that we're looking for a literal pair of sneakers, something tangible to measure the process of our growth. What we need to be thinking about is the metaphorical pair of sneakers that got us to the finish line of this 4-year hill. As we prepare to leave the last 4 years of our lives behind us, what we need is not a symbolic object. We only need to remember that we all have a metaphorical pair of sneakers. We have all had experiences here, and the sum of those experiences is not an object, but the people that we are today. As hard as it is to admit, it's the things we can't take with us that are the most important. We can't take the view, we can't take our dorm rooms or our roommates, we can't take the classrooms, the dining hall, or the trails, and we can't take the classes, the meals, or the practices that they symbolize. These things are true symbols of our Gould experience because they are Gould. When we started as freshmen, we lacked a sense of possibility. We couldn't really see beyond the friends and enemies of our freshman class. At the top of this 4-year hill, though, we can look down and see that we've expanded our perception of what is possible. We've watched each other conquer hills with just a pencil, a calculator, or even a smile. It's in this way that we have each questioned the impossible. Whether or not you realize it, you've conquered those same hills over the last 4 years. Instead of taking an object that symbolizes these achievements, the achievement itself is what you need to take with you. To retain our sense of possibility as we continue onward, what we need is not something to remember our experiences by. We need only to remember our experiences. The thing is, you can lose an object. It can be stolen or broken, but the same is not true of an experience. An experience can never be stolen. It can't be broken, and you definitely cannot lose it. You can forget the details of an experience, but once it's happened, you can't change the way that it changed you. So stop looking for an object. Objects aren't going to get you up a hill. What will get you to the top are your experiences. There are always going to be more hills than you think, but the thing is, you're ready for them. Thank you.
And now we move into student awards. The Scholarship Shield. The Scholarship Shield is presented by the class of 1930. And on this shield is inscribed the name of the valedictorian, who is the top academic member of the senior class, who has been at Gould for at least 2 years. We'd like the shield recipient to stand and be recognized. Ms. Pratt M. Olson. Distinguished academic performance. I'd like to acknowledge those seniors who have achieved a cumulative average of 90 or above for their years at Gould. Seniors, please stand and remain standing until all names have been called. And please hold your applause until the end. Natalie K. Choi, Aiden P. Clark, Isabella J. DeLuca, Megan E. Beatles, Sky M. Fournier, Rachel L. Goldberg, Rose H. Goldberg, Mary A. Harvey, John W. Kannegizer, Evan A. Landon, Alexandra K. Leff, Pichut Liantong, Heidi L.W. Ohms, Pratt M. Olson, Juncheng Chen, Xiaolu Qian, Hannah T. Runyon, Melissa S. Side, Maxwell L. Southam, and Kyler B. Walker. Cum Laude Society. In 2014, Gould Academy was granted charter with the Cum Laude Society. The society was founded in 1906 to recognize scholastic achievement of seniors in secondary schools. The object of the Cum Laude Society is to promote learning and sound scholarship. This time I would like to announce the names of the senior class members of the Gould Academy Cum Laude Society chapter. Please stand as I call your name and remain standing until all names have been called. Aiden P. Clark, Megan E. Deedles, Rachel L. Goldberg, Rose H. Goldberg, John W. Kannegeezer, Alexandra K. Leff, Pratt M. Olson, Xiaolu Qian, Hannah T. Runyon, Melissa S. Side, and Kyler B. Walker.
On behalf of the English Department, it is my honor and my pleasure to present the English Book Award to a student whose strive for excellence is fueled by a passion for the written word and with deep appreciation for ideas explored through literature. Pratt Olson.
On behalf of the history faculty, I am very proud to present the History Book Award to a young man who I don't think we'll ever forget last night. That's Jack James Morrison. I think we should ask Jack to give another speech.
It's my honor on behalf of the math department to recognize a student who has excelled for 4 years, who's studied this year some very abstract math, doing an independent, and who's an all-around wonderful person who will be very missed, and that's Xiaolu Qian. And Xiaolu, I hold your graduation in my hand with this.
It's my honor to present the prize in science as voted by the science faculty to Xiaolu Qian.
It's my honor to present this Computer Science Award on behalf of me, the Computer Science faculty, to Zhou Jingfei.
On behalf of the World Languages Department, I am proud to offer the French, Mandarin, and Spanish Book Awards this year to 3 very deserving individuals. The recipient of this year's French Book Award has a true love and passion for French language and culture, consistent preparation marked by speaking the language, both in and out of the classroom is the start to a strong language student. Add to this a willingness to take creative risks with the language, as well as the effort to convey sophisticated and complex thoughts in writing, and you've described one of the most enthusiastic and hardworking individuals with whom I've ever had the pleasure of collaborating. I wish her the very best as she pursues her study of French and Italian at the next level. The Senior Book Award in French goes to Alexandra Leff. The Mandarin Book Award goes to a student who has been enrolled in the program since its inception, who has a clear talent for languages, having studied 3 different languages during his high school career. Clearly a linguist, this student has spent significant time each of the last 2 summers in immersion programs sharpening his skills, demonstrating much progress in both his verbal and written communication. On behalf of the whole department, it's with great pleasure that I wish him the very best in his continuing language studies at college. This year's Book Award in Mandarin goes to Aiden Clark. Our Spanish Book Award goes to a supremely deserving individual, a gifted linguist who has excelled in all aspects of his language studies, a wonderful thinker, a gifted writer. This student is wont to have fluent conversations in Spanish both in and out of the classroom. On behalf of the World Languages Department, I wish him the very best as he pursues his studies at the next level. The Spanish Book Award goes to John Will Canigese.
I am proud to present the award in drama on behalf of the Performing Arts Department to a student who is very passionate about not just theater, but about performing arts in general. She, in her 4 years at Gould, I believe has graced the stage in every single one of our performances. That is, of course, Paige Conley.
Good morning, everybody. On behalf of the Visual Arts Department, it's my pleasure today to award the Senior Book Award. This book award will go to a student who has demonstrated excellence in both 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional work this year. She's been a terrific student throughout her time here at Gould. Please congratulate Ronly Rose Na. I'd also like to recognize the Visual Arts Pottery Award. This award will go to a gentleman who, throughout his time here at Gould, has demonstrated commitment and craft on a level that we have not seen in a long time. Please congratulate Maxwell Southam. The last award I have for you today is the Rhode Island School Design President's Award. The Rhode Island School of Design established its annual Art Award in 1984. Each year, a select number of secondary schools with noteworthy programs in the visual arts are invited by RISD's president to nominate an accomplished artist from the senior class to receive this distinction. Teachers are asked to consider several criteria in making their nomination: the student's effort and achievement in the arts, their overall academic achievement, their creativity and talent. And this year, I'm proud to announce that Evan A. Landon is the recipient of that award.
On behalf of the Performing Arts Department, I'm proud to present the Ralph Gould Music Award, awarded to the graduating senior for improvement, excellence, and contribution to the school in the area of music. The Ralph Gould Music Award consists of a token gift and an invitation to select and present to the Academy some object relevant and useful in academic or extracurricular music. The recipient of this award this year goes to a young lady who has worked tirelessly in our Manhattan School of Music program and has improved vocally immensely, and that is Paige Conroy.
Good morning. On behalf of the athletic department, I'm here to honor our senior athletes with the Joe Roderick Award for boys and the Francis Highbury Award for girls, recognizes a senior boy and girl for outstanding competitive spirit through example and overall competence in athletics. The Francis Highbury Award recipient, Melissa S. Side. The Joe Roderick Award recipient, John W. Kennegeezer.
Good morning. It's my honor to award the W.P. Clough III Award. William P. Clough was the headmaster of Gould Academy from 1983 to 2001. Upon his retirement, this award was created to recognize an outstanding student athlete who has demonstrated character, attitude, and leadership. The recipient of this year's award is Willie K.
I have the honor of presenting the Gould Academy Alumni Association Award. The Alumni Award is presented by vote of the faculty to a student who is a son or daughter, grandson or granddaughter of a Gould Academy alumnus or alumna, who best reflects the high standards of the Gould Academy Alumni Association and the school's motto, "To thine own self be true." This year, the award goes to Ellie Burbank.
On behalf of the entire Senior 4-Point team, I'd like to give this award. Awarded to the senior whose project best exemplifies the three values at the heart of every Gould endeavor: the energy to try, the willingness to risk, and the capacity to tolerate. Over the years, we've given out this award to people who've done internships, all kinds of things, but I can't imagine ever having the opportunity to give the award to someone who rode their mountain bike from Canada to Mexico, Maxwell L. Southam.
Job advisory. Let's see. I am here to award the Jan and Lorenzo Baker Award. Jan and Lorenzo Baker devoted 35 years to Gould Academy, challenging students to be courageous and open to the world around them. Art Department Head Jan Baker inspired students to explore new perspectives and techniques for artistic expression. Dean of Community Life Lorenzo Baker helped students become strong individuals and leaders within their community. The Jan and Lorenzo Baker Award is bestowed upon a member of the senior class who best exemplifies the qualities that the Bakers fostered. Personal courage, an adventurous and creative approach, a clear vision of him or herself and their world. I am pleased to announce that this year's award goes to my neighbor, Sky Fournier.
Good morning. I have the pleasure of giving these next two awards. The Owinga Citizenship Award. It was named for Dr. Marvin T. Owinga, history teacher at Gould for 30 years, and his wife Tinika Owinga, French teacher for 30 years. This scholarship is awarded to a member of the Gould student body who embraces the spirit in which both the Owingas live their lives through acts of selflessness and thoughtful humanitarianism. The recipient of the Owinga Citizenship Award is Sky Fournier. Okay, whew. Sorry. The Annie Daly Crochane Award. This award given in memory of Annie Daly Crochane, class of 1986, and celebrates the spirit of student involvement in social, political, and environmental causes. The award is in two parts: a monetary contribution to a cause which Annie believed in and worked for, and an inscribed cup presented to a Gould Academy student who reflects Annie's determination to make a world a better place. The recipient of this award is Ellie Burbank.
It is my pleasure to present the Lindy Lowell Award. Lindy Lowell worked maintenance at Gould Academy for over 30 years, always with a smile, a kind word, or a helping hand for anyone in need. By vote of the senior class, the Lindy Lowell Award is given to that member of the senior class whose friendly personality and helpful nature has brightened the lives of his or her fellow classmates and the student body at Gould. I am pleased to announce that this year's recipient is Rachel L. Goldberg.
The town of Newry presents a monetary gift to each of the graduating seniors who are full-time residents of Newry. This year's recipients are Allison Corey and Kyler Walker. I'm pleased to present the Melmac Principal Scholarship. This $2,000 scholarship is awarded to a graduating senior who's made a difference in the lives of others and that of his or her community. A solid citizen involved in extracurricular activities, a student who has exhibited a commitment to public service, an individual with the potential to make a difference in the world. The Melmac Principal's Scholarship Award goes to Sky Fournier. The Elwood F. Ireland Award. The late Elwood F. Ireland, headmaster of Gould Academy from 1940 to 1959, created an award upon his retirement which went to the boy and girl of the senior class who exemplified service, leadership, and character. I am pleased to announce that by faculty vote, the award goes this year to Hattie M. Rosenberg and Theodore C. Jones IV. The Headmaster's Bowl. The Headmaster's Bowl is awarded to the senior who has exhibited the highest standards of scholarship, character, service to the school, and participation in the activities of the school. The Headmaster's Bowl goes to Pratt M. Olson. It is now our great pleasure to grant the 2015 academic diplomas. Mercedes Amigo Frances. Matthew Joseph Bejo. Zachary Xavier Bouchard. L. Smith Burbank. Samuel Elliott Butterfield. John Patrick Canning. Chen Chen. Natalie Kalam Choi. Aiden Patrick Clark. Hunter Carey Klein. Grace Hatfield Connors. Paige Hamilton Conroy. Allison Lee Corey. Isabella Jean DeLuca. Megan Elizabeth Deedles. Sky Mariah Fournier. Peter Haywood Geller. Tate Potter Gidding. Johannes Garoy Godfrey. Rachel Leah Goldberg. Rose Hannah Goldberg. Jameson Joseph Harding. Mary Alma Harvey. Natalie Goldsmith Hereford. Benjamin James Higgins. Theodore Christopher Jones IV. John William Kangeser. Evan Ahern Landon. Alexandra Kaylee Leff. Sam Zachary Leone. Kichiyut Liamthong. Yang Xin Yu. Jackson Spur Marshall. Joshua Sternberg McCartney. Riley Kevin McDonough. Jack James Morrison. Anna Marie Mulhern. Bennett Stefan Uzilla. Now, Ronlin. Heidi Laurel Woodward Ohms. Hung Ming Chuan. Chen Chung Cheng. Chen Xiaolu. Ren Xiaoshu. Yes. Addie Mae Rosenberg. Hannah Taylor Runyon. Melissa Sue Tsai. Henry James Smithers. Maxwell Lawrence Southern. Alexa Nicole Stewart. Lucian Russell Sulloway. Logan Hio Tassi. Demet Idil Us. Tyler Babcock Walker. Robert Paycock Warren III. Megan Elizabeth Wheeler. Zhou Baoxin. Zhou Jingfei. Mrs. Penley, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to present to you the Gould Academy class of 2015.
Okay to sit. Congratulations to everyone, for sure. Seniors, we practiced part of this yesterday, so be enthusiastic at the end if you would. May we walk the way the saints do, free and friendly and fresh. May we walk in our own two shoes, imagining how others walk in theirs. May we walk always with energies of holy hope, surrendering controlling creeds along the way. May we walk deeply in touch with the earth's resilient fragility, learning how not to bruise a star. May we walk upon pathways of compassion, willing to be sidetracked by calls for help. May we walk in the ways of life-giving creation, which causes us to grow in spiritual generosity. May we walk appreciating blessings wherever we go, learning with each step to say, blessings to thee and to thine. Ah, this is the day. Jambo, namaste, shalom, salam, peace. And to the seniors I say, repeat after me. Here we are, all together, in one place. We are on the move. Bless you all.
Five-year seniors. Yeah. You're supposed to be the recipient. 5 for your Uncle Mike.